So this is going to be a super short video because I'm going to go over 3 short and simple reasons why all you fantasy fans need to read this book. And I do not think this is just a good book for being non-fantasy. It's just a good book, period, which is why I'm reaching out to you. Somebody who might not go explore other shelves and other genres that often, because I know I'm one of those people. When I go to the bookstore, I don't look outside of fantasy. I don't look outside of science fiction. So when I recommend a book outside of this genre, you know it has to be good. So here are 3 quick, short, and simple reasons you should read A Christmas Carol. Number 1, the book is extremely entertaining. It's a page turner. On Audible, I think this book is only like 3 hours or something like that. And whenever I open it, I literally cannot put this book down until I finish it. Even though I've know the story, I've read the story before, it's a book that every time I pick it up, I feel like I finish it in 1 or 2 settings. Reason number 2, the tone. The tone is astounding. Dickens did something really amazing with this book, where he seems to flip back and forth between a whimsical celebration to this type of mournful horror. This book is a tragedy, but it's also a celebration. It's honestly, just simply put, it's a book that makes you feel from the time you start the book to the time you put it down. And the third reason, and probably the most important reason, is the theme and messaging of the story. Lovers of fantasy are often accused of being escapists. Even Tolkien wrote about this. People running from reality to worlds that magic can solve their problems, or magic can create problems that make their own real world problems seem insignificant. Yet, something I've noticed is that all the best fantasy seem to have a philosophical aspect to them. They tell truths of our real world in a fun way that makes it more easily digestible. Either that, or it separates the problems from us to a degree where it lets us view them from a point of view where we can rationally examine them without our own biases creating like these mental defenses. Lord of the Rings, for example, it's a story warning of the corruption of power, of everyday good people being able to defeat evil through extraordinary actions. Harry Potter, it touches on topics ranging from people not being who they appear to be to all the way to the power of maternal sacrifice. Like, I don't disagree with Tolkien very often, but I do not see fantasy as people escaping from something. It's people searching for something and finding it, even if they don't necessarily understand what they found, even if they can't put a word to it. The Christmas Carol is one of these powerful books. It takes a serious topic that the human spirit is constantly searching for, and it displays them in a new way that is fun and digestible. When we start the Christmas Carol, we see this miserable and borderline evil man face the choices of his past. He sees the consequences of his choices, and he eventually finds redemption through the power of love and charity. You add these 3 reasons to the fact that the prose in this book is one of the most beautiful out there, yet simple enough for everyone to enjoy, and the fact that it's a timeless Christmas classic, and you have a book that any of us fantasy nerds are going to love. Also, it's public domain, so I mentioned that it's free for Audible members, but in reality, it's just free for everyone. You can YouTube Christmas Carol, and you can see 1,000 people reading this classic book. So during this Christmas season this year, I really encourage all of us fantasy nerds to stick our toe outside of the genre for just 1 second to enjoy one of the greatest Christmas stories ever written. Or you can cozy up with Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings again for another reread. Those are acceptable answers too. But if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and comment your thoughts and keep reading more books. But before we go, I wanted to make a special note to all the parents of fantasy nerds out there. I highly suggest you get your kid to watch this video. Maybe you'll convince them to pick up A Christmas Carol. I know that a lot of parents of fantasy fans want their older kids branching out in their reading, to read something outside of fantasy. I remember my own teachers wanting me to read more quote-unquote literature while I had my nose buried in Harry Potter or The Hobbit or Aragon. So if you're a parent wanting your kid to branch out, the secret is you have to find fun books that are fantasy adjacent. Books that will have some sort of like supernatural element to them, or characters that go on whimsical adventures that get them to start wondering if there's more out there than just fantasy. And that's what you get with this book. So again, I can't wait for y'all to read the book. Let me know your thoughts, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.